Hi Parvesh,
Hey Tanesh,
welcome to the show.
thank you.
Do you wanna
Glad to be here.
take a minute to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Parvesh. I have around 20 years of experience in the industry. Primarily been an engineer most of my career, being in and out of manager, individual contributor roles, architect, CTO. Yeah, I've worked with many industries. Started my career with Yahoo, went to InMobi, that was in the ad space, then went to another company called Zetata, that was in the search space. Have done e-commerce, I have done education. Yep.
Awesome. So Parvesh, for someone who has never met you or watched you or is watching you for the first time, if you could just control the one thing that they walk away, uh, understanding about who you are, what would that be?
That's a pretty. It says one thing, but it's a very loaded
Yeah,
question, right?
yeah. It's like love. What is love? Good. Hmm.
So uh, I would say, I'm glad that I have always been able to have the right attitude.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know. In the beginning, I would have always doubted myself, or even today, I would have doubted that, hey, how could people would have tolerated me back in the day? Okay, maybe still, don't know. uh, but now looking back and all, I realized that many people they never bet on my skill sets. Okay, they actually ended up betting on my attitude, and so one thing that yeah, I would say is that luckily I had the right attitude.
Tell me more.
So uh, I never said this is not my job, for example. Okay, it didn't matter whether something I had to do manually, even if other people were doing it the other way around.
Mhm.
Okay, so if something has to be done, it has to be done, and nothing is beneath you,
Mm.
right? So, and one thing that I have seen is that through time, uh, I love to work with people like that, with that kind of an attitude as well. And I'm again, just repeating myself, saying, I was lucky to have that attitude, and that has helped me progress in my career a lot.
Do you have a story in mind where you would have a lot on your plate, right? But in but because you had the right attitude that nothing was beneath you, maybe you would have done some grunt work, right? Which maybe other people in this industry would not have. But in context, in hindsight, it was better on delegating. So the point that I'm hinting at, whenever people say things, whenever people mean nothing is beneath them, there has to be a trade-off, right? Like 10 things can be done in terms of, let's say, grant work, for example, right? So how do you decide in that context what to be delegated and what not?
Okay. No, I think well, maybe there's this slight misunderstanding when I say nothing is beneath me. Okay,
Hmm.
I don't mean to say that I would like to do everything all by myself.
Right.
Okay, or I'm prone to not delegating stuff. Right. So a company or a person can only grow in their career by understanding that you have to delegate.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody has to if someone else can do it.
Hmm.
Okay, or someone else is free, it has to be given to them, right? My main reason for saying this is that like you know you don't wait for someone
Hmm.
to pick up the trash on the floor
Hmm.
if there is no one else,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Or if you have to do something, if you have to balance a few things, while then you just find time. Like I read this quote a long time back saying, a busy man has the time to do everything.
Yeah.
Right? And it is true. It's very true that if you're saying, if you're trying to run away from any kind of responsibility, saying, hey, I'm busy. Okay, you're actually not busy.
Yeah.
The, taking up responsibilities is what makes you busy.
Got it.
That does not mean that you don't delegate. You delegate, right? You not only delegate, you work with others. Okay, you work with your peers, where that whole idea of a managerial delegation may not exist.
Right.
Okay, and again, the thing is that whether you are doing it yourself or you are getting it done, okay, that is also a sort of a sense of responsibility that one takes.
Right. Got it. I want to talk about one of my favorite topics. It's like co-founder relationships, right? And it's one of those topics where everyone struggles with, but it's stigmatized to not talk about it. It's stigmatized to talk about it. It's like sex. Okay. so, uh, so what is the definition of healthy co-founder relationship, Parvesh, according to you?
uh, trust trust in execution. Okay.
Right.
Many people I have seen, like, they try to put it in terms of friendship and, like, healthy relation, healthy personal relation. Okay. I'm not saying those are not needed. Okay, it's very good to be friends with your co-founders. It's very good to have your friends as your co-founders. But in the end, everything comes down to trust between people. Okay, trust in execution. Saying, if we have, it's okay to have disagreements, it's okay to have discussions, right? But once a decision is made, you know that you and your co-founders will execute on it.
Right.
Okay, trust goes to the next level, not only, like, away from execution. So one thing that I have always seen in many people is saying, hey, well, we got together, we are getting into, like, we're building a company. We had a verbal agreement on a few things. Right. Now, as soon as I hear them, the first thing that I say, put it on paper.
Yeah.
And the response I get back is, dude, we trust each other.
Right.
We are very good friends. We trust each other. Thing is that if you actually trust each other so much, why can't you put it on paper? Right. Putting something on paper only strengthens the trust.
Yeah.
It doesn't weaken it. Okay. So, trust to the level of execution. Whether it is executing in terms of uh, product, whether it is executing in terms of team building, whether it is executing in terms of legal documentations. Okay, that is what needs to exist between co-founders.
Yeah. So what you are saying is trust is very, it's in the air unless you are backing by execution. There is, unless
Yes.
you are not following by actions, there is
Yep.
no trust in this context.
Yep.
And only way that you trust each other is if you are comfortable to take those actions. And action being equity decided and keeping it on paper and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that improves the relationship, not hinders it.
Yeah.
And if it hinders it, maybe that's not the
co-foundership. Yes, execution proves there is trust.
Makes sense. So, in your experience, tell me the top three reasons that co-founder relationships fall apart, and how do they differ as a company evolve from 0 to 1 to 10 and 10 to 100?
Okay. Uh, First reason that I have seen in some of the companies where, like the co-founders have gone separate ways, is they had different reasons to start up.
Right.
Okay, none of those reasons are wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Someone may be in it for the money, someone may be in it for the glory, someone may be in it for the passion of the problem, someone may be in it for the, like some XYZ reason. Okay, but if the reasons for which you are starting up together, if they are not coherent at all, right, those reasons are not going together, eventually there is a fallout.
Give me an example.
So one person is in it for the glory.
Right.
Okay, another person is, though in general anyone who is in the startup thing for glory should not do it. Okay, maybe the only wrong reason in the list that I have given. Okay,
So money qualifies, guys. Just say.
money is okay. So let us say one person has this whole idea of sexiness of startups in their mind. Okay, they see other people getting news coverage and like all of those things, or other people getting recognized in technical forums. So the other person is there for solving a problem.
Right.
Okay, or maybe money.
Right.
Right. So that is a very bad mix. Okay, because the person in the end who is in it for the money or for solving the problem or grabbing the opportunity, okay, is going to be very customer centric.
Yeah.
Right. The person who is in it for the glory is not going to be customer centric, and their execution is going to fall apart.
Right. And what about those cases where, let's say, in a journey of 4 or 5 years of co-foundership at least, a lot of the time, especially when young founders are starting out, they're still not sure like why doing it. They think that when they're starting at zero journey, they're doing it for money, impact, and all of that. But these reasons evolve, right? As individuals and company grow. So, do you have an example in mind where, because as evolution of both co-founders and company happen, it's better to break off than continue in this company?
I would say, like before going to the extreme step of breaking off and all, okay, there needs to be a clear call out of saying, hey guys, my motivation is changing. Okay, or our motivation is changing.
Yeah.
Okay, most of the people, like whenever they start, many people they actually have this some idealistic reason to start. Right, and that again, idealistic is, I'm not saying that in a negative sense at all. Right, they will have a vision for the company. Okay, they will have a mission for the company. Okay, and they will be like, yeah, we have to stick true to this
Right.
mission, we have to sort of stick true to the vision of the company. Okay, and a few years later, okay, there may be a bunch of investments that you have, your board may have blown up, and there may be a lot of revenue pressure, for example, for an instance. But in that case, sometimes you may be executing in a fashion that does not align with your vision.
Yeah.
Right, happens.
Yeah.
It's very practical. Okay, thing is that as founders and co-founders, the first thing that you need to do is you have to always be at the lookout of why, if such a thing is happening. Okay, first you judge whether it should happen or not. But if such a thing is happening and it is unavoidable, yeah, you cannot get out of that situation. Okay, and you are also okay with it. Maybe all the founders are okay with it. It is still necessary to call it out.
Right.
So now coming back to your question, saying What if one of them has a difference of
Yeah.
opinion? Okay.
But before that, why do you suggest calling it out in that context? Even if it's everyone
Not
is, yeah.
yes. Why are you silently okay with something that is not the mission statement of your company? Why are you even in a position where you are okay and you don't know if everybody else is okay or just getting along with the current direction?
Mm.
If you're not calling it out, if you're not having that explicit discussion on that topic, right, then you don't know if you're the only one whose vision or the motivation has changed, or is it everyone? So, more clear communication again strengthens the trust. Let everyone be okay. It's practical. It can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't assume that implicitly everyone is okay with it.
Mm.
That assumption is wrong.
Yeah.
And these assumptions are actually the reasons for fallouts.
Mm.
Right? When you say that one of the founders, they had their motivation changed, their motivation evolved through time, okay, and they have started behaving in a different way in the company, and they don't see much of a resistance in the beginning. They start implicitly assuming that everybody is fine with it,
Yeah.
okay, and that is the start of the fallout.
Mm.
So it's not about that somebody's motivation changed or somebody's goalpost moved. It is that they wanted their goalpost to silently creep into the company.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
as founders of a company, especially like when let us say from a 2 3 member company, you reach to a 10 20 40 100 people, where there are literally other people who are dependent on you, right?
Mm.
Or their livelihoods are dependent on the company. Okay, it is very important for the leadership of the company, the founders of the company, the rest of the leaders who are there in the company, to always be transparent and clear
Right.
about their thought process with each other and with the rest of the company.
Mm. And in terms of breaking up, what's the tipping point in this context?
So you are silent, the other person is silent.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't like it. It keeps on building
Mm.
in both of you. Their execution patterns are not matching. Slowly, that silence gets into unnecessary disagreements. It
Right.
starts getting into unnecessary arguments, and then heartbreak.
Yeah. Got it. Professional hardware. So I understand about communication and transparency and how trust gets built up over time. But this is the question in the context of a CEO at least. Um, I'm sure there must be some cases where it's better for a CEO to, or of any founder for that matter, to keep things to themselves, at least temporarily, because saying them out loud would detonate the partnership before the right time or before the other person realizes it that this was the right call. Do you believe in this thesis?
Mm, largely no.
Okay.
Okay, but unless you have any one specific example, we can talk about.
Let's say that let's say in the context of a crisis, right?
Mhm.
A company is going, let's say IPO, but COVID crash happened, IPO is fucked up, right? So in
Mhm.
that context, CEO has to take tens of hundreds of decisions which only CEO is positioned to understand better, right? And there must so this is the time when the CEO is making the hardest call of the company ever, right? So it's natural for other co-founders to maybe not understand where they are coming from, where, for example, firing people, or uh, maybe all these hard calls that you could think of. So in some cases, if CEO at least temporarily, strategically to make that process smoothen out, hide some information from the CTO, which is in not the CTO's domain or in other co-founders' domain, right? Do you think this is a strategic call for a CEO,
So,
especially when the other person is not on board with it?
see, whatever examples you have given me,
Mm.
okay, uh, they are in the domain of every founder and not only every founder. Okay, you may have externally hired a VP of something in the company. Even if their department is not taking a hit, even then it is in their domain.
Right.
Okay. See, the thing is this. Okay, a CEO is a title. Okay, it comes with this different job responsibilities, roles and responsibilities, slightly different from the other founders and all. Okay, but when we just talk about the co-founders, okay, among those co-founders, the CEO, they are equals. First of all, you always have to understand that co-founders are equal, irrespective of who has what equity in the company. Okay, what equity the CEO has, maybe they are the founder and others are co-founders and they have slightly higher equity. They are the CEO. On paper, other people are reporting into them. Okay, that just makes the CEO first among equals. That's it. Okay, and first among equals, it just gives that person some extra responsibilities and not any extra powers. Getting my point?
With extra responsibilities come extra decision making power and hence technically power.
No, responsibility, decision making responsibility,
decision-making.
not decision making power. It is the decision making responsibility. So, see, uh, when you are working for someone, okay, it feels like that they are your boss. When you start looking at from their angle, they look at you that I am responsible for this person's work,
Yeah.
right? So a boss is in the org chart. Okay. In the end, from a company's point of view, which is a lone entity somewhere, right? Everybody is an employee and everybody has responsibilities.
Yeah.
So when a CEO has to make decisions, those decisions are to solve a problem. Those decisions are to solve a situation, provide a solution for something, right? They are making those decisions because it is their responsibility to solve those problems. And it is like theoretically it is similar to an engineer making but decisions on which algorithm to use to solve a particular problem,
Yeah.
because it is their responsibility to solve that problem. Okay, so we can say, yeah, an engineer has the power of deciding which algorithm will win today.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, but algorithms don't look at it that way, right?
Yeah, it's technically the decision making power that you're talking
It's a
about, which
decision.
people confuse for veto power.
Yeah. So it's a decision making responsibility, not
Yeah.
a decision making power.
Right. So by power, you basically means that bossing around nature, like, right? In terms of that's you don't get to call veto unless that's your domain of operation. This is what you mean?
Okay, see, I wouldn't even call it veto.
Yeah.
Okay, if any company is actually reaching a stage where the CEO is often calling out their veto power or like those things, that is anyhow headed for disaster, right? Uh, I would mostly call it saying, hey, this is a conflict resolution.
Right.
Okay, conflict resolution means we are in a deadlock situation, and this deadlock needs to be broken.
Right.
Okay. Now, when a CEO or any leader, for that matter, right, in a company, they step in and say, hey, let's go ahead with this. If there is a conflict going on, for this versus that, okay, the CEO comes and says, hey, let's go with this. Right. The worst thing that the CEO can do is that every time they do that, they're always leaning back to their own idea, saying, "Oh, this was my champion in this conflict,
Right.
and I'm vetoing my own champion."
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is what a veto is,
Right.
and that is a recipe for disaster.
Makes sense.
So what you have to figure out is that what is the best thing here, right? And sometimes the best thing is realizing that there isn't probably much difference between this and that. Go ahead with the idea of the person who's actually going to execute on it. If you are the one executing, actually going to say write a code, actually going to talk to the customer, actually going to like have a reportee, so whom to hire can be one of those conflict points and all. Okay, if you are the one, you can say, in the end I have to do it, so I do it my way. Right. If you see that it's the other person who has to do it, and anyhow there isn't much difference between A and B, okay, then let them just do it their way. Or sometimes it's even okay to let them do it in their way, if you see that
They have conviction.
no, no, not their conviction. Even if you know that they're going to fail,
Because that's the way that they'll understand that this will work.
no,
Okay.
there is lots of learning in failure.
Sure.
Okay, and again, it is only your hypothesis that it will fail.
Yeah.
What if it succeeds?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
and uh, I have heard a lot of things about people saying, "Hey, I want to build talent density in the company."
Yeah.
Okay, the highest talent density or some of the best talent we want to get in the company. Where does the talent come from? The talent comes from people learning from their failures. So you can bring in the best talent, but if you don't let them fail in your company, your talent density will go down. So you have to let them.
Yeah. So I want to bring back the conversation to the reasons that co-founder relationship falls apart. Right. One of the things that you mentioned was trust and communicate. Oh, vision is different, or they have different reasons of starting up. Any other reasons that come to mind which somehow ends up becoming make or break deal?
There could be personal reasons,
Sure.
right? Like it could be, it doesn't have to be a fallout. Okay, it could be one co-founder cannot carry on. for longer than they have been doing. Okay, but mostly everything roots in some sort of trust breaking between them.
Hmm. Right. One last question, this topic of co-foundership. What's the decision or a realization for a co-founder when they realize that they are maybe loneliest in the journey and they can't talk about these things with their co-founders, potential co-founders? They can maybe talk about it with their friends or different founder friends, but they can't talk about it in company, and they realize that they are loneliest ever in the journey of the company.
The first time you encounter anything that you think that you cannot share,
Yes.
anything about, like you mentioned, right? So as soon as you're hit with a problem and you think that I cannot share it with my co-founder, okay, is where you should realize immediately that either you are doing it wrong or the other person is doing it wrong, but this relationship may not fly.
Right.
And it goes for both of them or the three of them, or how so many are there.
You know how people say that when you are in the context of romantic relationship, when you are too honest at like when you're 18, 19, 20, when most people are not emotionally mature to understand each other's perspective, most people, including me, would have resorted to not being completely honest about conflict resolution mechanisms, right? And conflict resolution mechanisms require 100% communication in terms of the stigmatized topic. So what you are saying, at least to me, makes sense when two people are fairly emotionally mature or are okay with it, that even though we might not be emotionally mature, we want to go through the journey together of emotional maturity and communication. But for most people, especially these days, starting out in 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, don't you think it's an unfair expectation to place on them? This 100% transparency, but then it's better that uh, they don't share some things uh, with their partner, co-founder.
Hard to understand, frankly. Okay, have I hidden things from people at that age? Yes. Okay. Do I sometimes hide things still from people, knowingly or unknowingly? Right? Yes. Okay. Uh, and when I'm advocating for it, okay, I also can vouch that a 100% transparency is not possible.
Okay.
Okay, the reason to not share needs to be clear.
Mm.
Okay, so what are the reasons to not share?
Yeah.
What are the reasons to not share that are okay,
Mm.
acceptable? Okay, there's an idea brewing in my mind.
Yeah.
For now, it is a one-liner idea.
Okay.
I'm myself not even sure about what I'm thinking.
Right.
Right? I'm not saying you should not share at that. It is still okay to share, but it is somewhat okay not to share.
Sure.
Right? Maybe I had an idea, in the morning, and by afternoon itself, I myself may okay, chuck it. Right? What was I even thinking? Right? So, and everybody has their own definitive bandwidth, mental bandwidth, right? So you don't want to be in a position where you're always hogging up the bandwidth of the rest of the people in the company.
Mm.
Okay. So it's good to hold yourself back
Yeah.
in such things. Uh, Still okay to share with one or few who may know you better, saying, okay, let me see if he comes back after the afternoon. Right. Okay, comes back in the evening with the same thing or not. I will still give them the year. Um, so things like this, knowing why you are not sharing, okay, and that reason is justifiable, okay, but not sharing like when we started about all of these things, it was mostly going to in the direction of not sharing very critical information. Right. Now, not sharing critical information, like which may be saying, hey guys, it may be a very good news, it may be a very bad news, doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. That breaks trust. So it doesn't matter how young a person is, like in their journey, in the startup. Okay, they may be 21, 22, but they should not be hiding anything critical from the leadership.
Take our conversation to hiring, right? So this is one of those things where people who do not have experience with hiring, whatever literature you read, it does not make sense until you make the hiring mistake. So this is like a personal questions that I have for you. So number one question I wanted to ask, I don't know if you know about this, but Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, when he was hiring for his first few employees, he put up a hiring post in the following manner. So instead of how companies would usually glorify how the job function is going to be, he was just very honest. Long working hours, shittiest job that you'll ever work, things will fall apart, something like that, right? And not in a glorified way, which companies do, how they glorify work culture, but in an honest way. Do you think if the CEOs or founders aims is to hire the best people, and for startups who are still gaining reputation or they do not have any social proof yet in terms of investors, like big investors, do you think would you do this strategy for your startup, this hiring
You
marketing strategy?
marketing for hiring.
Yeah, like how you position your
Mm,
hiring message.
See, I think that is a very different game. Like you gave me the example of Airbnb. It's from US, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very different game in US, especially in Bay Area versus you sitting in Bangalore. Okay. Uh, Fortunately or unfortunately, okay, uh, we have in India we have way too many good skilled people,
Yeah.
okay, who are looking for a chance to change, okay, or even jump into their first job, okay. So as far as it goes, like that you have to for even for a startup getting their very first few employees, okay, uh, it's not a too much of a marketing game for people, especially a post saying, hey, it's going to be long hours and this and that, all of these things. I don't think that is a practical problem in India, as far as, okay. Now, in general, for a startup, okay, there are two types of hirings that you have to take care of. One is your hiring of your employees, right? As in, like your say your engineers and your managers and or maybe product managers, or especially what I'm talking of is individual contributors, right? Versus hiring of managers and the leadership in the company, right? So you have to approach these two slightly differently. The first kind of people that you have to hire, the individual contributors, is what you have. That is where, more than marketing yourself, you will get all kinds of resumes, and all kinds of people applying for the job over there. Of course, you have to make sure that compensation for them should not be a problem over there, right? 100%. Yeah. So, but you will not get any resumes if you're saying, hey, no, yeah, that's for your goodness, for the goodness of your heart. Yeah. So over there, you have to again look at people who will just get the job done, right? Now, when I say get the job done, I don't mean I just want this done. I just want this to be taken care of. I don't care who is doing it. I mean, from an attitude point of view, where you know that whatever you throw at this person, they will figure out how to do it. Getting my point? So, yeah, a person who is ready to learn is more important than a person who comes with the bank of knowledge. Right. Because there are going to be completely new set of problems that they have not seen. Right. So they need to be ready to learn. Yeah. And not immediately feel that they are out of their depth.